For the high elements in a challenge group course, there are several ways of belaying a participant. The common one will be a dynamic belay. As I mentioned earlier, the dynamic belay term used in challenge course management is different from climbing's dynamic belay. In climbing's dynamic belay, we are talking more on doing a form of belay that manage the impact fall from lead climbing. But in challenge course management, dynamic belay is really more on what we understand as top rope belay. So if you look at the video over here, you see Lois belaying Pokiao, and that's where she would climb up to the top of the Wild Woozy. So this is typical of a dynamic belay. So you see that the belay is on the ground while the participant climbs or traverses an element. And this can be done in practice usually by a participant or an instructor. And the participants can be lowered at any time if needed. A lot of times, perhaps due to our climbing experience, we will think that it is all about climbing up an element, but you can traverse or what we call a walking belay. As you can see on the catwalk on the left side, the participants walk across the catwalk and the belayer will follow her as she do so. And on the right, you see the double, it's probably a trio dangle trio again. That's where you get three participants climbing, and that's where they'll climb up and they'll be lowered later. Now, for dynamic belay, you'll see that there are a few ways of belaying the climber. You can belay off the harness of a belayer, which is something that's familiar to you, or you can use a just right descender, which is actually, it looks like a block of wood, but there's holes inside where you thread the rope through. And you can do a belay boat anchor, which is your belay system is linked to a fixed point on the ground or to a pillar. Now, you may ask also, what knot do I tie to clip the belay line to the participant? Commonly, in Singapore, we usually clip to the carabiner or we tie knot directly to the participant's harness. So the knots that you have been using so far in climbing is a figure of 8 thread through. What is less common is a bowline on a bight, as seen in the diagram over here, as well as a double figure of 8 on a bight. You'll see more of that in climbing, but essentially these two knots are less used in local context.